I was in the grocery, and I heard two women talking in a checkout line. People who know each other casually find themselves together in a checkout line or a waiting room at the doctor's, and they catch up on personal history. "What happened to your husband?" said one. "Did he have an operation?" "No," said the other, "but I saw him on crutches." "Oh, that. He sprained his ankle doing some yard work." "Oh. No, there's more. Then he went out and played 36 holes of golf." "You don't say!" "Oh, yes, that's the way he is. Everything he does has got to be extreme." "Oh, dear. His ankle swelled up and now he has to stay off it for 3 months. That's why he was on the crutches." "That's right. And he was scheduled to go to Brussels and Amsterdam and Frankfurt, but now he can't do it. He had to cancel." "What a shame. It's his own fault. Maybe now he will finally learn his lesson." I've heard that expression all my life, and this time, having nothing better to do than stand in line and eavesdrop on these women, I wondered what it meant. What is this lesson that we all must learn? It seems, certainly, to be about overdoing, the perils and pitfalls therein, and the elevation of moderation as a way of life. Let's say the man in question is named Carl. Carl twists his ankle working in the yard, which pisses him off because doing yard work was bad enough without injuring himself. And any injury like that is a kind of personal insult, too. It hurts and it leaves you in a weakened condition. It's even worse than that, though, because Carl is scheduled to play golf the next day, and nothing, definitely not a painful ankle, is going to keep him from playing golf. Carl loves his golf, looks forward to every chance he gets to play. Playing golf is one of the, if not the, greatest joy in Carl's life. So he plays. Of course he plays. He drags that bum leg around the course and he doesn't say anything about it because Carl doesn't use excuses. Excuses are lamer than his ankle. But it's obvious to his playing partners that something is up. He's walking funny and his game is off. But Carl doesn't say a word. He's thinking about the time that Tiger won the Open and he could barely walk. One of the guys finally says something about his foot, and Carl brushes it off, says it's nothing, I'm fine. But by the end of the round, he's gritting his teeth, he can barely walk, and he's shooting 10 shots over his handicap. He posts a dismal, disheartening score, he loses all the friendly bets, and his foot feels like it got kicked by one of those Budweiser Clydesdales. He has 2 drinks after the round instead of his customary 1, to settle his nerves and quiet the shout of pain in his foot. It swells up, and he can hardly get out of the car when he gets home, and his wife, God bless her, takes one look at him, hobbling woefully to his chair, and she makes him go to the doctor, who tells him to stay off the foot for 3 months and gives him a prescription for pain medication and a set of crutches, which means he also isn't going to Europe. So there he is, and you have to wonder, what is this great lesson that he might finally be learning? I'm betting it isn't, don't do any more of that fucking yard work. I'm betting it's, don't do any more of that fucking yard work. His wife is hoping that he'll learn to dial it back, to take it easy, that he's not getting any younger, and when he injures himself it takes longer for his body to recover, and he can't go out and play the way he did 20 or 30 years ago. Carl doesn't want to learn that lesson. If Carl does learn that lesson, then he won't be Carl anymore, and it wouldn't surprise me if he was dead within 6 months. And at his funeral, his wife, his long-suffering wife, would be sitting there accepting condolences and thinking, the darn fool never did learn his lesson. In Tolstoy's story, The Death of Ivan Ilyich, Ivan suffers an injury sustained in a fall while hanging curtains. It seems to be nothing at the time, a slight ache in his side, but gradually he loses his health, and eventually, as the title of the story so strongly suggests, he sickens and dies. In the process of losing his life, Ivan reviews it and learns his lesson. He resists it time and again, but at the end, he pushes himself through the darkness and into the light. He realizes at last that he has squandered his life, pursuing false goals of no real importance, professional advancement, social status. Like Scrooge on Christmas Eve, Ivan sees very clearly the error of his ways. In the midst of profound regret, he finds a moment of peace and happiness, and he dies. In sum, transferring the case back to Carl, the lesson would be: put a splint on your foot, grab your clubs, and go to the driving range while you still can. At the very least, you can work on your putting. Willie Sutton, a notorious hardhead, learned the lesson too, finally, in the slam. Time is all you have. Use the time. Don't let the time use you. Good day to you, sir. Thank you for shopping at Kroger. Did you find everything you need?